So a little bit of introductions, and hang on, let me just adjust Zoom here so it doesn't take up my whole screen. So my name is Roger Kibbe. I'm a senior developer evangelist. So last year, I was independently developing for voice and actually entered Bixby's 2018 hackathon. Something similar to this, a little bit different format, but I actually was the winner of it. So I have been through hackathons and have had some success. So happy to talk about that or ideas I have. You know, I'm a father of 2 teenage daughters. So they were all running around last night on Halloween, and I had no idea what they were doing. And I'm a UC Berkeley graduate, so I just got to say, go Bears. And I'm going to lead the webinar, but my colleague is here, and he's going to jump in and help me. And there are certainly areas at Bixby that he has deeper expertise than I do. So I may defer to him for certain questions. But Jonathan, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hey guys. There I am. My name is Jonathan Pan, also a technical evangelist here at Bixby, also co-worker with Roger. You can see those two things. I won the 2019 hackathon, and I have a lot of cats. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll be here to help Roger, read some questions to him and stuff like that.
All right, great. All right, great. So let's get started in here. So just some DevJam basics to go over. Many of you may know this, but just to reinforce this in your mind, I think there's 125 grand in total prizes, including one 10K grand prize for the best Bixby capsule, 2 finalist prizes of 5K, and then there's 5 1K runner-up prizes. And then if you've done any Bixby development, or if you looked into it, you see in the store we have a bunch of sections. There's 20 different sections in the store. So the best of each of those store sections will win 1K. And I will just point out, I think that's a really great opportunity. If you look at the sections, there's some that have a lot in there. So everybody loves games. So games and fun is pretty busy. But there's a couple that only have a few capsules in there. So definitely take a look at that when you're getting your ideas and think about opportunities there. And then the other prize is that the first 250 approved, let me go over that in a second, capsules will get a $300 Samsung store credit. So when I say approved, the deadline is December 9th for the capsules to be approved and published in the marketplace. So what I would say is you guys definitely need to submit these. Think of early December, say a week ahead of time as your own personal deadline to get your capsules submitted. And so that gives us time to go over them. You know, there may be reasons why you get rejected first, maybe another round to submit them and get them in. So get them in early. We are going to starting, I believe, next week, have a raffle for all the capsules that have been approved. And then we'll have a raffle every week for the capsules approved for that week. And there's a $500 prize for a raffle. So that's another reason to get your capsules in early. By the way, I should have mentioned this to kick off. If you have any questions, start asking them in chat, and Jonathan's going to help and read the questions out to me, and then I'll answer them, or I may defer to him on certain questions. But go ahead and start asking any questions you have in chat, and when we're done, I'm going to go over a few things, and then we're going to open up the Q&A for most of the session. So what I wanted to talk about today and demo is some of our new Bixby features. So definitely templates. So I'm going to give you a short demo of how templates work. We're pretty excited about those. We think they're a really great way to get kickstarted with Bixby development and get something going. The other thing we introduced this week was supporting new devices for development. So you can target, in the past, you could just target mobile, which meant the phone or the tablet. But now you can start developing for the TV, the watch, and appliances, the smart fridge. I will say, though, that for this contest, you're going to be judged upon your mobile submission. So please do go experiment and see how things work in the TV, watch, and appliance. But that's not going to be a deciding factor in in the judging for this contest. We also introduced video playback, not this week, but a couple weeks ago. So if you want to add video to your capsules, it's available. And the last thing we introduced is called natural language categories. I'm not going to spend a long time on this today, but this is a way, if your capsule supports enough vocabulary in a particular category, to become what we call the default, which means instead of using what we call a dispatch name, so ask my capsule to start, you could just say, let's say I had a weather capsule that was in there, and you could say, what's the weather? And if the user had enabled your capsule and set it as a default, then your capsule will directly answer that. So that's a way, this is pretty revolutionary in voice. This is a way for your capsule to directly answer a query without a dispatch name or an invocation name, I believe some of the other platforms talk about. So real excited about that, but I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on that today. What I am gonna talk about is templates. So I'm gonna jump over to the Bixby Studio, and I'm gonna create a couple templates. I almost said attempt to create a couple templates, because I'll be the first to admit that I haven't done this a lot. So you guys bear with me if I'm a little fumble figured here. All right. So let's go over to the studio, and there is a new thing, create a new capsule from a template. Okay, and there's a bunch of things in here. There's facts, important search, jokes, a podcast template, and a quiz. I'm gonna do something really quick with facts, and I'm gonna go in important search and show you that. So facts template, if I click on this, and I'm gonna choose English as the language. Okay, and since yesterday was Halloween, and I was building this week, and I had Halloween on the mind, I thought I'm gonna do a fact template about, a fact capsule about real haunted houses. So I got a little research and found some haunted house information. So I'm gonna use that and kind of cut and paste that in here. So if I open this little text editor here, so like I said, I did my research here. First, we're going to start with Winchester Mystery House. I'm going to use that and enter it as the fact text. All right. And then I'm going to, so that's text, and you can also optionally choose an image. And so Winchester Mystery House has an image. All right. And then I'm going to add a tag. And what I'm going to use this tag for, I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to use this for the location of these real haunted houses. All right, so that's my first house. Then I'm at another one. Let's jump over to my text that I did here, the House of Death. This is in New York City. So I got a bunch of text about that. I select a file, and I have an image that I grabbed for the House of Death. And let's add a tag for that for the location there, which is New York.
So Roger.
No questions. No questions. Okay, and then I am going to use this Biltmore mansion, and I'm going to select a file there. And I have my Biltmore estate image there. All right, so this is super simple. And add a tag for the location there. It's in Asheville. So I know some questions are coming up. We're going to take questions after I go through this demo there. So keep your questions coming. We can jump back into the templates or talk about anything, but please keep on asking them on the chat, and Jonathan will keep track of those. All right. So what I've done here is I've added 3 facts, bunch of text, some images for each, and then I added a tag, which is optional, which is the location, okay? So next step, I gotta give it a name. So here's a namespace that you use with Bixby. If you use Playground, it's just a generic namespace that works with anything. If you've already done this or aware, you can set up your own namespace, but I'm gonna use Playground, and I'm just gonna call this Haunted. If I could type, haunted houses. All right. I'm going to say generate capsule and boom. All right. The capsule is generated. So let's go see a demo of this guy working. So I'm going to open the simulator and I'm going to use haunted houses. All right. And what the fact capsule is like I mentioned, I just entered those 3 facts. And then what it does is it randomly selects one and is going to display one. So I'm just going to say start.
The Biltmore Estate was built by George Washington Vanderbilt II and has a reputation for being one of the most haunted houses in the country. A woman's voice is often heard calling out for George. It is assumed this is the voice of Edith Vanderbilt, George's wife. Various other ghosts are often seen. Adding to the mystery, the estate has many hidden doors and passageways. Perhaps these are how the ghosts move about.
All right, let's try another one.
The Biltmore Estate was
We
built
got the
by
same one. It's a random 1 in 3 chance.
The Biltmore Estate was
Okay,
built
come
by
on.
George. The Biltmore Estate was built by George Washington.
Let's try this. This will give me another one.
House of Death, on West 10th Street in New York City, there is a brownstone known as the House of Death. Legend has it the house is haunted by the 22 people who have lived or died there. One of the occupants of the House of Death was Samuel Clemens e.g. Mark Twain. It is said the ghost of Mark Twain wanders the halls of the House of Death, along with other bone-chilling ghosts. Do you dare travel to New York and take a look at the House of Death?
Okay, so this does really basic things. I can just say start and show me those facts and things like that. So I did add that tag. So there is built-in training. So if I say, what is it? It is, find a fact about, and let's do San Jose.
Winchester Mystery House. The Winchester Mystery House is a mansion built by Sarah Winchester, the widow of firearm magnate William Winchester.
I'm going to stop this because I'm going to go fix. I'm going to show you quickly. Okay, find a fact about San Jose. Not real sexy for a haunted house thing. So let's just do something really simple and add some training. So it's find a haunted house. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go in Ian. I'm going to go in training. And you can see it's really simple. There's 2 pieces of training. So let's say find a haunted house in San Jose. So I'm going to add some training for Bixby. And I'm going to do this. Okay. Now, yes, I am looking for just this get content. This is a really simple hustle. But now I need to tell it San Jose is actually input it's looking for that tag. All right. And the tag is a search term. Okay, let me go back there. Whoops. No, San Jose is a search term. Search. Okay, what am I getting? I have an error here. See, guys, I told you I hadn't done this. Oh, I know it's wrong. Hang on. Yeah, I'm going to go on this quick. Geez, search term. That's good. Let's just try again. Find a haunted house in San Jose. You can tell this is a new feature. All right, get content. Okay, there we go. Search term. Say done. Yes, you like that. Compile here. All right, so now if I go back to my simulator, I can do something a little more interesting. Instead of San Jose, let's say find a haunted house in New York. Okay, so that should be that New York Death House.
I don't know any facts about New York.
All right.
Looks like I've got some homework to do.
All right, so I made an error here. Let's see, find a haunted house.
Winchester Mystery House. The Winchester Mystery House is a mansion built by Sarah Winchester, the widow of firearm magnate William Winchester. Ever since it was built in
I
1884.
think I misspelled New York in the when I entered the data.
Winchester Mystery House.
Asheville.
The Biltmore Estate was
All right,
built by
perfect.
George Washington Vanderbilt II and has a reputation for being one of the most haunted
All right.
houses in the country.
So you guys get the gist of that. So now if I was going to build this all out, first I wouldn't, whatever I typed in for instead of New York, get that right, I'd add, but I think it actually this is a pretty simple pattern of voice. But I actually think you could build a pretty cool capsule just using a pattern like this. Like if I was going to build out one to find real haunted houses, first I get a lot of content there. Get images. I'd probably get multiple images and maybe use an image carousel with Bixby so I could see those images, multiple images there. I'd probably add some sound effects, use SSML to add some sound effects to make some spooky sounds there. Maybe add a little variation to what's being said. I also think that text at the top of the screen was a little bit a lot. That's the dialogue. So I might move that down to the UI next to the image. And at the top, maybe just have the dialogue be the actual name of the haunted house. All right, I want to show you the a little more interesting, the import and search template. This is where you're going to use a template, and I'm actually going to import a CSV file. And so this is really great because any tabular data you can use to kickstart a Bixby capsule. So let's add a capsule here. Say a create capsule from template, import and search template. Okay, what I am going to do, if there's any hockey fans in there, I'm going to build a little thing that has the NHL schedule so I can look up hockey games for any team. So I already have a CSV with the schedule. So desktop hockey, I have a little CSV that has the hockey schedule. Okay, and I'm going to call that a schedule. Okay, and then I am going to, oops, already got that. Okay, then I'm going to add one, and I have another CSV that actually has the team, just the team names, NHL teams. Okay, and I call that team. Okay, so if I go, let me briefly show you guys this desktop. Just show you the CSV is really simple. So you can see this is the hockey schedule. It has a game name, a date, a time, an away team, and a home team. And the team CSV is similar to that. All right, let's go ahead and create this. Got to give it a name, playground.nhl. All right. So I can say, I'm not in the simulator. Click over, I'm gonna go to the NHL capsule. And I can say, show all teams.
Here are some teams.
Okay, so here's all the NHL teams and things like that. Because I'm talking from San Jose, I'm gonna go look at San Jose Sharks, go Sharks. And you can see the data in there, it's just the arena and the city that they're in. And then I can say, show all schedules.
Here are some schedules.
And this has actually got I think there's something like 1,350 games this year. So not real useful. So, but I have all the data. So Bixby's done, I just imported those two CSVs and Bixby's written all the data for me to actually access these. So let me add a couple pieces of training for you so we can actually do something a little more interesting. So I want to, obviously, if I'm a fan of a team, I want to find their games. So, and I want to find them for, let's say, a particular date. So let's say find Jose Sharks games on, let's just use today's date, November 1st. Okay, so I'm adding that as training. Okay, so I am looking for a schedule, so that's the right thing. And then I need to mark up. So this is the team name. And if you looked at my CSV, it is a team name ID that was used for the team name. Okay. And then I need, this is a date. So Bixby has things called library capsules. We're going to use one called a date time expression that understands particular dates like November 1st. And it also understands things like last month or this month or last year. All right. So I am going to use that. And that is a time, date, time expression. Done. I'm going to save this guy. I'm going to compile it. Okay. So let's go over and give that guy a test. Find San Jose Sharks games on, let's try a week from today. I don't know if they're playing a week from today. Let's say November 8th, on November 8th. Oh, you know what? So if you ever see this, that error, that's because I did not actually compile it. Go back and compile this guy. All right, we should be good.
I couldn't find any schedule.
All right, you know what? I know they're playing today, so we'll use today as a date.
Here is the schedule.
All right, so they're playing the Winnipeg Jets at home at this evening. And so now I can find a game on a particular date, all right? But let's say I want to see a date range. Let me go look, jump over here, and I'm at one more bit of training. So I'm going to say find, my training is going to be a little different. It's going to be find San Jose Sharks games. What am I using my example? Next week. Okay. All right, my goal is the same. It is a schedule. Same thing, San Jose Sharks are a team ID. Team name ID. And then next week, I'm gonna use the same date time expression. So date, time, date, time. Time, not the date library, time. Time expression, there we go. Okay, all right. So I have that guy. So now I can find, I have an example for a date range. So let's see how that works. Okay, so that's now compiled. Let's go over here. We'll do San Jose Sharks and then we'll do another team. Find San Jose Sharks games. Let's not use next week. Let's use next month. So that would be the month of December. Fix that.
Here are some schedules.
And you can see here's the San Jose Sharks games for all of December. We don't have to be San Jose Sharks. Let's use the Anaheim Ducks. They have one of my favorite names for a sports team of all, because they're the Disney reference. All right, and how about next week? So I'm gonna be, let's say I'm gonna be down in Anaheim next week and wanna go see a Ducks game. All right, let's see.
Here are some schedules.
All right, so the Ducks are playing both at home games next Tuesday and next Sunday of next week. So that was my example of just using some CSV data and using sports schedule uploaded. And really, by just adding a couple pieces of training, I could start building actually, a sports schedule capsule. And Bixby did most of the work for me. If you saw, all I was doing was adding natural language training there. So there's a bunch to explore with this. I will show you, we do have some sample data sets on GitHub. If you go to our GitHub presence, github.com/Bixby developers, and we just added these in the last day or two. This sample import data, we need a little better README there, but there is some information, for instance, about if you wanted to try, there's some flight CSVs and some information about how that would work. One for movies, one for hotels. But we're really excited about this because we think it's a really great way to get you a kick-started with Bixby development with just some tabular data in CSV form. There's a bunch more that I didn't go over. You can check in the docs. There's some things you can kind of mark up that CSV to enable some more complex features. But I just wanted to give you a taste today of how easy it is to build a Bixby capsule, both that the haunted house capsule that I built by just cutting and pasting and getting some images, and then you could see how that worked. And then also that CSV upload. All right. Just a couple more slides, and then we will open this up to Q&A. All right, oops. So this is a bunch of places where you can get more information and get some support for Bixby. So Stack Overflow, definitely you're gonna post on Stack Overflow. It's our preferred place to answer technical questions. Definitely tag it. You can tag it with Bixby. You can also make sure to tag it with Bixby. You can also tag it with DevJam 2019. That'll give the support team some idea that they need to really prioritize answering that question. We have a Slack channel that's a public Slack channel, bixbydevs.slack.com. And then the sign up, there's a bit.ly link there. And if you find features or that you'd like to see added or support tickets, you'd all go to the Bixby homepage, same place you're going to download the IDE, www.bixbydevelopers.com, and do that. And finally, we're going to have these weekly office hours, probably near the end of the week. We haven't settled on an exact cadence, but I'm sure we'll have one next week. Definitely look at that Slack channel and join that, because that's where we're going to be posting the videos of these. Additional information about the contest. We're going to answer questions. Really, that's the most valuable resource for the contest. Except you have a technical question, you ask it there. We're going to probably tell you, hey, can you please ask it over on Stack Overflow so we can share it with the larger technology community. A couple FAQs about the DevJam. Our capsule updates eligible. In other words, this started on October 18th, and my date is, somebody may correct me on the date if I got that wrong. No, if your capsule is already approved prior to October 18th, then it's not eligible, so you need to create a new capsule during this period. Can I use the sample code on GitHub? Absolutely, and you can also use the templates. But if you use the sample code on GitHub, there's a bunch of sample data there. We expect you to create your own data and make it your own capsule. If you just submit something with the sample data, it's going to get, it won't even go live in the marketplace because we have a rule about rejecting things that are based just on sample data. But please do use those as a resource, either the basis stay as a starting point. I think they're a really good starting point to get yourself kickstarted at Bixby development. How do I get a capsule idea? What's a winning idea? Well, there's a lot of them. But you know, the way I like to think about voice and conversational AI is think around where a conversational interface or voice is the best modality, the best way to answer something. You know, there's many times I have to pull my phone out of my pocket. I got to go find an app. I got to launch the app. I got to click. And I'm really looking for some simple information or simple entertainment. In that case, voice is probably a great opportunity. Or I have to run over my laptop. I got to go to a browser. I got to go to Google. I got to search things, look things up. Voice is a great modality. Obviously, voice is good for some things and not good for other things. So you need to think about that. But think about maybe one of the ways to think about it is where's there friction in your everyday life where, man, it's a lot of work to go open an app and find it, and I could build something voice where I can get an immediate answer. I think there's great opportunity. Where can I ask more questions? I mentioned that Slack is the best place, Stack Overflow for technology questions. So thank you. Once again, my name is Roger Kibbe. I'm pretty active on Twitter. I like to continue the conversation. So if you want to follow each other, it's at Roger Kibbe. And with that, I'm going to get out of this slideshow. Stop my share. And then just open it up for any questions. And Jonathan, it sounded, I saw the chat was blinking wildly, so there must be some good questions.
Yeah, so the first question by Elar Nunch is, does video playback support YouTube videos?
Yeah, no, so video playback supports, you need to host an MP4 file.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it does not support embedding YouTube videos, but if you have a place where you can post just a regular MPEG video file, then it will support that. We have had the request to enable YouTube embedding. Like I said, if you can find that request, I think it's on bixbydevelopers.com. And you look at feature requests, just definitely upvote YouTube embedding there if you're interested.
So I added a link to this guy, a third-party developer.
Yeah.
He made YouTube videos work.
Yeah. Questionable legality there.
Right.
But yeah.
So, but you know, he did do it. If you guys want to give it a look, you know.
Okay.
So the next question by Frank Engelman, you mentioned if the user sets your capsule as default, how did they do that?
Yeah, so what I'd say, if you want to see that in action, go into Bixby and go into rideshare and ask Bixby, go and make Uber and Lyft. There's an Uber capsule and there's a Lyft capsule. Make sure neither of them are enabled and say, hi, Bixby, I need a ride to the airport, or whatever you want to say. And Bixby will say, hey, you need a rideshare capsule enabled. And then you can choose one. And then the user, it'll say, do you want to make this the default? So it'll work the same way. If there are multiple capsules that can answer someone's question, then it will ask which one you want. And it's a little bit similar to if you have an Android phone and you're using Bixby, you do. You know, you install two map apps and it says which one you want, just once or always. It's really the voice equivalent of that. You want me to ask every time which one you want to use, or do you always want to use it? So that's how you'll set the default. And you can also always set it in the marketplace. There's a setting for it.
I've also included a link to the NL category documentation. So this shows what NL categories are currently available and the utterances to basically kickstart, you know, asking people.
Yep. I think, so I just to be honest about categories is, in order to qualify for a category, especially the categories you have to have out right now, it needs to be a pretty comprehensive capsule that answers a lot of questions. So it's an awesome feature. Definitely take a look at it. My suggestion would be don't focus on that necessarily right now for the contest.
So the next question by Jose, if the views are pretty simple, is there any advantage to create templates versus just code everything yourself in the views?
I'm not sure I fully understand that question, but is there any advantage to create templates as compared to just code everything in the views? I mean, the reason you create templates is for code reuse. So you can template things and you can have reuse code, template UI code, or also code for dialogues that's used in multiple places. But otherwise you can code, I mean, it's a little bit your coding preference, right? How you're going to do that. I'd say, you know, you're going to build something simple, it doesn't matter. The more complicated something is, the more you want to think about templating it and abstracting it away and allowing reuse there. So it's really going to depend what you're building.
Okay. The next question, how do we get our own capsule namespace instead of using the test playground namespace. I'm just going to post a link for the documentation to do this.
Yeah.
So just go there.
Yeah, so it's
take a
all
look.
on bixbydevelopers.com after you sign in there, and there's a link on the bottom there, and then you create your own namespace, and then you own that namespace. And as a matter of fact, if you're going to submit anything, you can't use Playground as the namespace. So you need to use your own namespace there.
Okay. And the next question from Alan, can I have different developer name for each capsule, domain names that I own, or is it better to have the same developer name across all capsules I'm developing?
So developer name. I'm not. I don't know why you'd want them to be different, but maybe you have your own use case. I guess it depends on what you're trying to do. But yeah, you set the developer name and the capsule name. I'd say most people want to have the developer name be a brand that they build up. So if people use one capsule and enjoy it, they will see another capsule by that same developer name and be more likely to enable it. But there may be use cases where you want them to be separate. It's really up to you.
And the next question by Aaron is, can you show a short demo using webhooks or remote URLs in Bixby? I really, excuse me, I really need to use it. And what I'm going to say about this is to use the remote action endpoints.
Yeah, let me.
Endpoints.
Yeah, so there's a really quick, because this is going to be super quick. I'm just going to enable sharing again and show you on GitHub, where the best place I think to find that is on our GitHub, Bixby Developers. Now I can show you my favorite thing, which is called Capsule Samples Collection. This is a bunch of really simple capsules that show you how to do one thing. And indeed, there's one for HTTP API calls. So if you go in there and enable it, and you can look at the code, and it shows you actually how to do those API calls. I think this is I'm the kind of guy who likes to download the GitHub code and break it and not read the docs at all. But everybody has their own style. Other people like to read the docs. Jonathan's got the link to the docs. Those are one more formal way. This actually has code that actually does it. Use both of those.
Okay. So the next question by Stuart Pocklington is, what's the easiest way to set session attributes?
Okay. Probably a little more complicated than I want to get into in this webinar. But so by default, a concept in Bixby will maintain state above and beyond the request. If you want it to maintain, so you might have seen this if you're using it and you pass them in. So in my example, what I said, find San Jose Sharks games on November 1st. If I'd subsequently said find games on November 5th, it would have looked for San Jose Sharks games, because by default Bixby maintains that state there for several minutes is actually how it works. If you want to pass it via session, you actually pass those around in your actions. Why don't you? Here's what I think you should do. Too complicated to answer in this call, but ask that on GitHub, and we'll answer that and give you some information there. And I know, Stuart, that you've at least submitted at least one capsule I'm aware of, and are already on some of our Slack channels, so you can also reach out there. But please ask that on GitHub. And somebody else asked that. We need to show you some sample code that makes that really easy to do.
Okay, the next question, also by Stuart Pocklington, is it possible to update the CSV data later on?
Yeah, so it reads the CSV data once and then imports it. So no, it's not reading those files. Actually, if you go through, here, let me just show you really quick. All right. Bixby Studio over here. Let's just look at the haunted houses because it's really darn simple. If you go here in code and lib, content.js. So it actually just created this JSON file and it uploaded those once. So no, it is not directly reading off the CSV files. You could write your own code to do that. That's kind of a cool, nifty feature that would be a cool addition to kind of have a way to update your templates with here's some new CSV. I have to look into that. I like that idea. There's something there. I like the question.
Yeah. So the next a request from Nimesh is to please post the links to the CSV files using the hockey game capsule demo.
Oh, okay. I'll put those. I'll get those and put those on that GitHub presence that we have. I'll do that later this afternoon.
Okay, to this
Mhm.
this GitHub.
Yeah. So that was the guy that was over. Hang on. I think I still got chair. You see developers.
Template, sample template.
Yep. Here it is.
Okay, I'll post that link in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Jonathan's going to post a link in the chat. There's already flights, hotels, and movie agent and national parks in there. So some good starting points there for you.
And the next question from Fred. It sounds like I can submit a template-based capsule and still qualify for DevJam $300, right?
Totally. I mean, but you know, you need to create your own content. So if you submit a hockey schedule one or something based upon the GitHub repo that I'm looking at right now, national parks, it's not going to work. Really what we need here is originality in the content, but you're absolutely encouraged to use these as a starting point. Particularly for quiz and fact templates, the JSON itself is pretty simple. So I'm going to just say I personally think it's great to get your code started, but I would go enter my data in the JSON directly, but maybe that's because that's how I like to do it instead of through a UI, but you could enter it all through the UI there, whatever works for you. But yeah, they're absolutely intended to be good starting points. The focus has got to be on good content.
Yeah. I'd like to add that it also...
and you also need to add a bunch of training there. The training is really minimalistic there, so you need to add training for that. So Jonathan, you wanted to?
Sure. So, you know, there's a lot of also like just the capsule approval criteria too, that's all on the DevJam site. There's a link to that. And despite the templates being there, you do need to match the other criteria like unique dispatch name, etc. So there's a whole list of that stuff for your capsule to get approved. It's a little bit of additional work from the template, but the template will get most of the capsule out. So the next question from Simon is, how many capsules right now qualify for DevJam? And I believe there are currently approximately 40 that have been submitted for the contest. Not all of them have been approved, of course, but there's been about 40 submitted as of today.
Okay, so there's plenty of opportunity still going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the limit's 250.
Yeah. The next question.
And that's actually the limit, 250, that's for the $300 store credit. I mean, I'll tell you what I would do if I was entering this. I would fairly quickly get myself familiar with Bixby and do some cool but rather simple things, and then I'd spend a bunch of engineering effort wanting to win that 10 grand prize, building something amazing.
The next question by Elar Nanch is, are we allowed to update a new capsule during the DevJam period?
Yeah, so if you submitted a capsule, let's say you have a capsule that you've already submitted, and you want to make updates to it, absolutely. We're not going to judge those, the 10K winners and the 2 5K winners, and I think it's a total of 25 1K winners, till after the deadline. So please do submit things, get them out there, get people get feedback there and update them. I mean, I actually think that's a great way to do it, because we all know there's nothing like putting something out live to see how people use it and abuse it and break it and give you some feedback. So that's, yeah, please do.
Okay. And the next question by Simon is, on Slack, we posted a streaming SDC from home to win some Galaxy Buds as a result of this contest.
I have no idea. That should be in that link. I don't know. We'll try to figure that out for you, but I don't know the answer. That I did post that. I don't know when they're going to announce those winners. We'll try to find out for you if it's, and maybe I'll just click on that link. Hopefully it's just on that link there, but if it's not, we'll get you an update.
So the next question, or I guess a request from Frank, is when testing the new devices in the simulator, the phone and fridge show up as full screen, but the TV does not. So you'd like to see that as a feature.
Okay. When you zoom, I'll have to see what you mean. I'm not sure exactly what you mean.
I think what he means is the Bixby itself only takes up the bottom portion of the TV. Is that correct?
That's not
Instead
true.
of the whole.
That's not true. No, you can take up. It's an option in what you're doing with the TV.
I see. Okay. So,
you can add it as the I'm not sure if you're referring to the IDE, because that's the only thing you can see on the TV yet. But we'll have to see. And if it's something doesn't work, put it. Well, you can make it a feature request, or maybe add that in Slack, and maybe we can understand maybe a little more. I have to see with my eyes, and I'm not going to do that right this second. Exactly what you're seeing, and maybe and ask the right team.
okay. The next question by Fred. Any idea where I can find free content for things like icons and sounds?
Yeah, I will. So I have a couple resources there. I will be happy to post those to Slack. I have a couple that I really like. You guys want to build a community out of it, post your own. But yeah, I mean, if you search for free icons and sounds, you can definitely check it out. I mean, I will say this, right, is, we are all, I believe development is being as creative as anything. We're creatives, so let's respect the rights of creative people. If they own the copyright, then and just require attribution, let's attribute them and do that right. Likewise sounds, but I'll post on Slack a couple areas where I know you can get some things where either they're attribution free, or if they require attribution, that would just be something you'd put in the bottom of your capsule description. But yeah, I have a couple of good resources, and I'm sure there are many more than I know. So good question. I'll post some links in Slack.
The next question by Morph. Excuse me. Why macros are written as a macro quiz under this syntax in the quiz example, but I can't find that format of usage in the documentation. So I'll just post the link to the documentation for dialog macros, which is what that is. And you can kind of think of it as like a dialog fragment that you can reference or reuse throughout the capsule.
Yeah, I mean, I can see, I'm looking over at Jonathan's screen at the oops, well, now I'm not, but anyway. Yeah, I mean, so he's got a link to the docs that should explain that. Once again, if you have technology questions that aren't making sense there, or the docs are just confusing, then please ask. We're probably going to refer you to ask that question on Stack Overflow, like, how do I do this? I'd be happy to answer that, or give you some clarifying answers there. But take a look at that doc section. I don't know that particular doc section that well, but let us know it's confusing.
Okay, and one more question from Fred. What would be considered a good capsule to submit?
You know what I think is a good capsule? Something that you're excited about. So I always think that you build best when you're building something that you have a passion for, right? So figure out something you have a hobby, something you do, something where you're like, wow, I think like a voice interface or a conversational AI interface on top of this could really make it easier for me to do that or enjoy that. Yeah, that's really the best. I put the most effort into building things that I use and I enjoy. So I know that's simplistic, but really I think the best thing is, even if you're building a quiz, like if you're a big football fan, then build a bit of quiz about football, not about national parks, right? Unless you're a big camping fan, then national parks might be the appropriate thing. So build things that you're passionate about, and you usually build something people can see. When someone's built something that they're personally passionate about, it really, really comes through and is obvious. Okay, any more?
That's all the questions as of right now. If anyone has any more, feel free to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess Fred asked, what is a bad capsule?
What's a bad capsule? So what's a bad cap? So I'm not going to tell you what's bad. I'm going to tell you what I don't think works well, and what I've seen a fair amount is people taking a mobile app or a website and saying, I'm going to make it voice enabled. And that's great. And sometimes that can make better. But I have seen several times people create things where I'm like, you know what? I'd rather use the mobile app or the website to do that. To my mind, that makes something isn't compelling. I mean, if it's easier to use the website to do it, I'm not going to use voice. If it's easier to use a mobile app, I'm not going to use voice. So use something where it's a voice first approach, and that is the best way to do it.
Okay, and the next question is from Elon Arch. Can we see a screenshot of the marketplace? So you can just Google Bixby Marketplace.
Yeah, I don't have my let's see.
But I'll post the link in the here.
I will show you here. We can do this. I'll give you this really quickly. Let's see. My SDC talk that I gave this week. I will give you a screenshot of the marketplace. Let's see. Where is it? If I can do this quickly. Oh, here it is. And Zoom, share, desktop, share. All right, you guys get to see a little bit of my one slide, my SDC talk. I think you can see it there. So that's some screenshots in the marketplace. I don't have the right cable right now to connect to my laptop and actually show you to you live. Otherwise, I'd do that. But that's how the marketplace looks. From the left, that is the marketplace homepage. And there's some feature capsules and staff picks there, but I drilled down into categories, moved to the right. And in this case, I chose music and audio as a category. And then I enabled Audio Burst, which I think is a really cool capsule. I enjoy it a lot. And here's where you can say in that Audio Burst capsule, you can say, so those are your hints. About is your capsule description. I don't have the full screen, but as you scroll down, you get some more information there. But that's the basics of what the marketplace looks like.
Okay. The next question from Fred. I heard Adam will be an advisor. Can he help my company?
Yeah, so part of the grand winning prize is not only 10K, but Adam Shire, he was our co-founder, who is, if you don't know who Adam is, he's a legend in voice. Adam was the co-founder of Siri, sold Siri to Apple. Worked for Apple for a couple of years, then left Apple and started Viv Labs to kind of build the next generation of conversational AI, and now has sold Viv Labs to Samsung. So that means he's had 2 successful exits in the voice space. I don't believe, well, aside from his co-founder, I don't believe there's anyone who's had 2 successful exits in voice. So pretty good guy to talk to about entrepreneurship, and that's a perk of winning the grand prize.
Okay, so the next question from Aaron Verma. Can we access the marketplace in India? And Aaron, I sent you some steps on how to do that in PM. The answer is yes, but you have to change some settings in your phone and stuff.
Yeah, you need to make the phone be a US phone. Yeah. And so there's some settings, and it looks like that was answered there. There's a few hoops to jump through, but you can definitely do it.
Yeah. And the next question from Tapan is, do we have SMS services / email services feature in Bixby? If so, is there any daily limits on its usage?
Yeah, so we don't provide SMS or email services, but you could definitely do that and integrate through an API. So if I was going to use email, the plethora is open to people who you could send email to, right? You need an SMTP server, right? You'd have to write code for that. For SMS, yeah, thank you. I said, tip of my tongue. Twilio is a great company. I really like them. They offer SMS and voice. They don't do email, SMS, and voice and a bunch of things. and I'd integrate my Bixby capsule with the Twilio API and do that. And they actually have a pretty generous free tier and pretty good stuff. So a call out to Twilio if you want to do kind of messaging integration.
All right, and I guess we have 1 more minute.
1 more minute. So are there any more questions?
That's it. We've hit all the
Okay. Well, great, guys. Well, look, let's definitely continue the conversation. Please join that Slack that I talked about. Let me bring that link up really quick. Let me see. Let me stop the share. I have like 2 different PowerPoints open right now, so it's all crazy. All right, let's see. Here it is. Share screen. Okay, and you guys should see. So Bixby Dev, if you haven't signed up already for bixbydevs.slack.com, the sign up is below. It's one of those auto signups. You go to it, you can enter an email and get in there, and we can continue the conversation there. We'll post this video up there probably early next week, as well as the first week's, which is a little bit more intro to Bixby 1, so to speak. Look forward to continuing the conversation, and we'll have an office hours probably late next week. We'll announce that in the Slack channel. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And thank you, Jonathan. He's the one who's really done all the hard work.
Oh, sure.
I had the easy job of just sitting there answering questions. He was maintaining and making everything work behind the scenes there. So thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.